The Long Road to True Happiness by WierdRandomTina. Chapter 12. A Visit Too Brief. On Wednesday, Poppy arrived early at the bunker, an hour before noon. She hoped that she wouldn't be disturbing him. She had encountered some last-minute changes to her agenda, so unfortunately she would only be free from now until noon. If this wasn't a good time for Branch, she'd understand. They'd simply cancel this visit, and she'd meet up with him the day after tomorrow. Though, truthfully, Poppy was eagerly hoping he would be available. She looked forward to the steady routine of seeing her eccentric friend. She knocked on the hatch door in her usual musical fashion. A minute passed with no sign of the grey troll. So she knocked again, and soon afterwards she heard a noise. Sounds like the elevator. Ever so slightly, Poppy felt her pulse quicken. The steady noise slowly grew louder, until it stopped with a click. After one more second, the wooden hatch door flipped open. "Hey, Branch! Sorry, I know I'm really early. I hope I didn't disturb you, but my afternoon suddenly got booked solid, so right now is the only time I could stop by. But if you're busy, that's totally fine. Or if you'd rather just skip today and take a break from our visits, that's fine too. I just wanted to let you know what was going on. I would never leave someone hanging and not show up. So, what'll it be?" After explaining the situation, Poppy half expected him to tell her that he had things to do, or simply that he'd see her on Friday. Instead, Branch mumbled, rather shyly, "You can stay, if you want." Poppy raised her eyebrows. "Really? You don't mind?"
"Yeah, it's fine. I wasn't really doing much anyway."
That wasn't entirely true. Branch had been in the middle of rebuilding his main storage shelves, but he could finish that later. Or any time. He hardly got to see Poppy as it was, so there was no way in hell he was going to turn down one of his few opportunities to see the sweetest, prettiest troll in the forest. Warm happiness rose in Poppy's chest. "Thanks, Branch. Now, I won't be able to stay for our full hour, so it's probably best if we begin our Daily Strike 5 game next time. But this should still give us enough time to try out a few other games." She revealed a colourful deck of cards. The two trolls settled down in the grass by the hatch door, and after played a couple of games for the next 40 minutes or so. She also offered him his prize for their last gaming competition, 2 more muffins. As he ate and they chatted here and there, Branch mentioned about needing some to sort through some backup rations in the near future. So Poppy suggested in lending him a hand with that for their next visit, since she was free for over 3 hours on Friday. It was a tedious job, and he really disliked doing it, but maybe having the high-spirited pink and magenta troll by his side would make the task a little more tolerable. Who was he kidding? Her mere presence had the ability to brighten anything and everything. Honestly, Branch never cared what they did together. They could literally do nothing all day, just sit and stare at the wall for hours on end, and he would still treasure every second of it. After she had won the first round, he had won the second, and they tied for the third. Princess Poppy announced, "I hate to leave so abruptly, but I should get back home early." She pulled out a paper from her hair. "I still need to write the final copy of this speech, and I'd really like to squeeze in a bit of time to throw together some lunch before the ceremony." A tiny idea crossed Branch's mind.
"I could invite her to stay. She could finish her work while I make her lunch."
Meanwhile, Poppy continued in her carefree tone, "I doubt I'll have time for food once I'm there, and I don't need my stomach growling like a monster while I'm trying to speak on stage." She laughed and continued to collect her deck of cards. Branch's very small window of opportunity was growing smaller by the second.
"Will I sound demanding if I ask her to stay for lunch? There's no harm in suggesting it, is there? She's really busy today, so I'm sure she'd appreciate anything that could get her some time. Worst case scenario, she'll say no thank you and be on her way." "But what if she says yes? What could I offer her? I doubt I have anything she would like, so I invite her for lunch only to have no food to give her? Even if I can figure something out, I'm no good at hospitality. Not even the basics. I'll screw up one way or another. I'll be wasting her time."
The cons were greatly outweighing the pros, so Branch couldn't find a single drop of courage. Before he knew it, Poppy had stood up and said goodbye and left. Once she was out of sight, he stood up and kicked a nearby tree, now mad at himself for not speaking up.
Why couldn't I have just said, "You're welcome to stay for lunch," if it would make things easier for you? How difficult is that? Now she's going to have to rush, and it's my fault. First she took time out of her tight schedule to see me, and then I threw away my one chance to offer her an ounce of help. Why must I be like this?
As Branch headed back down into the bunker, he considered inviting the princess to stay another day, when she had more time, and when he was more prepared.
I could find out what she normally eats, make sure I have the necessary ingredients on hand, and then...
He sighed as his perspective shifted.
Maybe Poppy not sticking around is for the best.
Branch was getting to the point where he would search for any excuse to keep her nearby for a few extra minutes. One more puzzle, one more game, one more random, pointless conversation. But he was being selfish. Poppy had other things, significant things, she needed to do. She was the princess. The entire village's well-being was her responsibility. All the other trolls required her attention. He didn't. So, as always, Branch ate lunch alone. He stared across his dining table, imagining Poppy was sitting there in the empty spot. She was eating a delicious meal that he made for her, while she laughed her adorable little laugh and gazed fondly at him with those heart-melting eyes and brilliant smile. It wasn't the first time he had done that, and it certainly wouldn't be the last. End of chapter. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed that. A small, short, sweet but sad one, and I appreciate that. I mean, she's really busy and he's too insecure to ask right now, and that's honestly understandable, because he's still learning, he's still adapting, and the fear that crushes can cause, the fear of rejection, that's a very potent thing, and it's very hard to get rid of. Anyway, you guys know the drill. Like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell to get notified for whenever I upload a new video. Have a good day, night, or whatever time zone you're in. Bye, my guys, gals, and non-binary pals. I'll see you in another video. Take care.